So this is my 6-month review of owning a GR Corolla. I'll cover what I liked, what I don't like, and some of the weird quirks about it, of which there are a couple. The nice things that I liked about this car. Well, to start off, the handling. The handling's great in the dry weather, wet weather, just as good, and in the snow, it's actually pretty darn great. Yes, I drove this in the snow, don't worry about it. Moving on, I do love the oversized brake pads and two-piece rotors from Toyota factory. That's pretty nice. It stops on a dime, frankly. And on the sport tires it had, man, braking was the best thing I'd ever experienced. On these it's pretty alright still. You know, all seasons. Next on the list is the exhaust note. It's pretty subdued. It's not overly bearing on the highway, it won't deafen you. But it's just subtle enough to still let you know it's there when you're opening it up and when you're driving around town. It's also loud enough to annoy all your neighbors at 1 a.m. in the morning when you're driving around. So there's that. Well, the front of the Toyota is pretty fine. It's alright. It's got this nice little badge here. I mean, it looks like a modern Toyota. What do you want? Next, the seats. Honestly, not the worst seats I've ever ridden in. I like how they hold you. I mean, they're like basically racing seats. Who'd have thought? But I don't know, they're about midway on my seat tier. I'd still say the UAZ's the top. Controversial pick, I know. So, just another small side note, another thing about this car I like. Man, that sweet fuel economy. Well, that was the short list of things I liked about the car. Now we'll move on to the list of things I don't like. Starting with the rear hatch space. This space is in fact so small that I can't fit a moving box back here. No, I'm not joking. Well, now that I've removed the headrests, the tonneau cover, and put down the back seats, I can officially tell you that this space will hold exactly one sandbar door. No more, no less. I don't know what you'll do with this information, but you're free to have it. So another thing I hate, these headlights. These headlights are my second least favorite color temperature. These are white with a purple hue. They are slightly better than the white with blue hue or bluish white that I ever hate so much because it hurts your eyes driving at night and also bounces off wet conditions. These, even with their slight purple hue, still bounce off road lines and you can't frankly see them in wet conditions at all. Same with road signs. Not only that, but their beam pattern is pretty subpar, honestly, because I can't really see road signs on the highway or signs on the side of the road. So, don't really know what the goal with them was, because they kind of work to illuminate in front of the car, but not real well. These fog lights, they were 5-watt OE from Toyota, and I've since replaced them with JDM 35-watt equivalents that are in pure amber, 2800 Kelvin. And frankly, these are now better than the headlights. So, don't know what Toyota's doing, but they should probably look into that.
So moving into the interior, I gotta say, I don't like this dashboard, because my 1980s wagon was correct in saying that, by its design, we were going to move to LCD dashes. I like digi dashes, but I like stylized ones. Liquid crystal full display panels, I feel like don't count, because these things are effing lame. Yeah, they're fully customizable, and you can put all the little gadgets all over the place how you see fit, like I can do here. It's here. There we go. So as you can see, I have it fully customized across all three of my, excuse me. Yes, I know, I don't have my spare tire in here. But I have it fully customized across all three of the available dashboards. And frankly, that's cool and all, but I don't really care. It's blah. Also, this center touchscreen. Number one, I hate the fact that it tries to connect to my phone every fucking minute. I don't know why it needs to connect to the phone. That's dumb. Also, I hate its placement. His placement is dumb. I wish it was lower, because this is really in my kind of night light or night sight driving area when I'm driving at night, which is why it's always off, because it's too bright no matter what I do with it. Well, let's just be honest. Numbers got thrown out the window. Next complaint. From the inside of the car, I don't know if this is captured well or not. I'm trying to be in roughly the place where my eyes sit with this GoPro. At least I'm hoping so. Aside from the very edge of the side view mirrors, which the camera might pick up because of its wide angle lens, you can't see the outside of your car at all. So trying to drive this is a little strange, because I can't really tell where the body lines of the vehicle are in space around me, which is kind of an odd thing to deal with. Also, it's kind of lame because I can't see the color of the car I bought, which is red, and frankly, I didn't really want red. I kind of wanted white or black, but, you know, this is how things ended up. Another thing I dislike, non-power mirrors, but not in the sense that they're like auto-folding or like moving and stuff like that. Manual mirrors and the fact that they have the toggle. Having owned a car, my Crown Vic, with a auto-dimming mirror, why don't all low cars come with these by default? Because I gotta say, a lot of those GMC headlights are absolutely horrifically blinding at night. So why aren't these auto-dimming? I don't know. Toyota things. Another thing, the sound system, it's aight. Kind of bummed out because I wanted to customize it, but now I'll never get the chance to. So I'm not worried about it. The Qi charger, it's in kind of an odd spot. Also, I don't have a Qi charged enabled device, so can't use it. A nice plus is I do have a USB of all my music, and I can just plug it in, and it plays off of it. That's a nice positive. What does annoy me, though, is this over here. The charging port is a Type-C port. I have to carry around adapters because that USB is about the only thing that I have that is not a Type A on one side and a Type-C on the other. That slightly annoyed me. I don't have any other Type-C to Type-C cords. So, adapters it is. Oh, I wish I had a storage compartment up here. What the hell? Why is there no storage compartment? This is dumb.
The weird quirks about this car. So you know earlier I said the front of the car looks like a normal Toyota? Well, this is the core, so this is the most base model of the GR you could buy. However, from this perspective, as well as the rear, there's not a lot, aside from the side molding, to differentiate it from a Corolla SE model. And frankly, it kind of peeves me. Next thing, these rear wheels. Yes, specifically the rear wheels. They have factory 10mm spacers. And frankly, as somebody who hugs corners really tightly, as you can probably see by this rim, I may have nicked it a time or two. It's just odd having the back of the car be a bit wider than the front of the car for me. But that's a personal preference.
Alright, so now for some quirks. Quirk number 1. Speaking of that audio USB I had earlier. So listen, Toyota, I have 5,882 songs on that USB, of which 3,000 of them fall into the industrial music category. A following 1,000 fall into the gothic music category. An additional 1,000 fall into German rock bands of varying types and styles. Another 1,000 are miscellaneous songs and other sorts of, traditional rock and glam rock and, just the normal stuff you listen on the radio. Of which that would be Green Day and Nirvana, 3 Days Grace, and a few other bands, not to get too specific. But, listen, Toyota. There are approximately 4,000 songs, technically about 5,000, that all honestly are mostly German in nature. And for whatever reason, it always selects Green Day or Nirvana, of which I have 5 albums combined from those two artists. Why does it only choose Green Day and Nirvana? I don't get it. You have approximately 5,000 songs from German artists to choose from. Why in those other 882 roughly are you picking from 2 of the smallest artists in my collection? What the heck's up with that? I have to sit here and skip for minutes to try and find, of the approximately 4 and something thousand change industrial and gothic songs, literally I have to skip for minutes to find a song. I don't have any problem with any of my other head units, only yours. What's up with that? Another quirk of this vehicle. I don't know if anybody else in the GR world experiences this. However, when I pull up on my handbrake sometimes, the screen dims. It's more visible at night. I don't know why it does it. But when I set the parking brake, the screen, the actual LCD screen here, dims and then comes back. Don't know why it does that, but it does. So something else I forgot to mention, I just remembered as I got in the car, because it just did it to me. Sometimes, even though I press the clutch and brake pedal together, The car doesn't start. It goes to accessory mode, then ignition on, then off. And then I have to sit and take both feet off the pedals, put feet back on the pedals, and then push the start button, and it starts. Don't know what's up with that, but it was weird. Also, as you can hear, it is currently not playing music. I don't have it turned down. It just isn't playing it. Occasionally it does that. I don't know why, but it just feels like it occasionally. Let me see if it's actually playing on the console here. Ah, even better. It has decided that my USB is no longer plugged in. That's a new one. There we go. Okay. I gotta pause that. So, one thing that also happened the other day, about 3 days ago, I was driving home, and the music just cut out mid-song. I tried raising the volume, to no success. I tapped this open, and the song was in fact playing, despite not actually playing audio. So those are two weird little things that I've experienced. Also, I totally forgot, now that I'm remembering all the weird stuff that it occasionally does. On the back of the car, occasionally the unlock button doesn't work. The lock button works, but not the unlock button. And I'll have to tap it once or twice, and occasionally it'll unlock, but not all the time. Typically I'll come in here and hit the unlock key, and that works more reliably than the button on the hatch. So those are a little couple of the quirks I totally forgot about, and just remembered as I was about to drive away. Just wanted to add those.
Well, that about just sums up my experience and what I like and dislike about this car, as well as some of its weird little quirks I've noticed over time. Now, I know there's plenty of you that will probably watch this and be like, wow, he didn't talk about the performance of this thing at all. And, well, frankly, that's because I don't drive fast. And that was my mistake in buying this car, because I didn't realize that this was a hot hatch at first. I know, some people are probably not going to believe that. However, on paper, it was exactly what I wanted. It was a manual, all-wheel drive Toyota. What more could you ask for, you think? Well, since I'm somebody who likes to work on project cars, like, say, my UAZ, my miniature truck, my 80s turbo wagon, which frankly never works, to be honest, but this car doesn't really fit my lifestyle anyway, tangent aside. It is a sports car, and frankly, having come from owning Subarus and SUVs, I didn't really realize how small a hatchback was until I owned this. I've only owned, like, a Bronco, the Subaru 80s wagon, which the 80s wagon has more space from here to here, believe it or not. I can fit more in it. I should probably make a video on me fitting more in it than this. This would probably be entertaining. However, again, hot hatches are small. I didn't realize this. I don't have anything against the car. I certainly don't hate this car. This car is a perfectly fine car. However, it is very much not my style, nor it is what I wanted. So unfortunately, because of that, by the time you probably see this video, I'll have sold it back to the dealership. Oh well, mistakes happen. This was a very expensive learning mistake, in that track cars / sport cars are not my forte, not what I'm interested in, and not what I like to drive. So, well, there was that. I did all this, and I got here, and I owned one, and I did it. And frankly, I probably didn't drive it in any way that normal people would drive this. About the fastest I've gone in this is about 130 kilometers an hour, which is 80, I think, roughly in US units. And I haven't even gotten to the first oil change yet. So, I know there's probably going to be some people angry that I even own this. To that I say, well, I had the money, so I owned it. I mean, hey, if you see it in the New Hampshire area, you can probably pick it up if it's still for sale. But I doubt it. This thing's probably going to be sold in like a week.